Win some Proline tyres, win some Proline tyres. Or you can win, get this puppy out of here, a winch. And it even comes with its little worn sticker. How cool is that, eh? So guys, that's going to be this year's competition. Some guys need tyres, some guys need a winch. Write me in the comment which of the two you need, and I shall put you in the draw. Now let's get back into today's video. Hey guys, on this week's show, I have put a figure into the MB crawler. Problem is, he doesn't quite fit, and also he kind of looked like really stiff driving around. So I've done a few modifications to him to make him fit better. But what's really irritating me right now is we have a moving steering wheel, but his hand kind of just stays in the same position. So I got one arm or one hand on the gear shift and one on the steering wheel. I'm going to try and see what I can do to his arm that I can fasten the hand to the steering wheel so that his arm moves with. Because at the moment, the way the figurine is, the arm is just way too stiff that the steering wheel actually would be able to move his entire arm and his hand while the steering wheel is moving. So it just jams up the entire servo, causes a few problems down the line, I would think. So somewhere along the line, I'm going to see if I can loosen up these hinges, so shoulder, elbow and wrist, to see if we can get enough flexibility out of his arm that the servo that's in the MB crawler that moves the steering wheel will actually be able to move his arm. Okay, that's the basic idea. Okay, let's get him out of here. Okay, I seem to have lost a little bit of footage. Now, what I don't like about the figurines that their back is so straight. So what I've actually done is I've bent his torso a little bit with a heat gun. I don't have it on camera. And I've also, to get his legs to fit into the foot area of the MB crawler, I actually trimmed a little bit off his legs. Let me show you what I mean. Oh, hang on, this has to be the other way around. Okay, I've got to undress you in front of the camera quickly. So, yeah, there you go. Kind of seeing where this is going already. I have to take his shoes off, get his leg down here. Hang on a second. Yeah, this way around. Don't want you looking up his crotch, so. All right, so this is kind of what I've done. I've literally taken his kneecap and sliced it off. So what I need to do here is, well, what actually happens here, it shortens his leg. So when he's sitting in the MB crawler, there is enough space in the footwell that doesn't obstruct him, so that he actually sits perfectly in the seat. The second thing that I've done is, this is also off camera, or put it this way, I lost the footage. Now, I melted his torso by taking a heat gun and bending his back down, or bending his back a little bit so that he doesn't sit so perfectly straight. So he's kind of like crouching down. I mean, this is kind of the position we would have, you know, sitting in a car in this kind of position. So coming to the arm that should move with the steering wheel, it kind of has to do quite a bit of movement, but as you can see, I am using quite a bit of energy to move this arm. So I need to take the arm off, see what I can do here to loosen the shoulder hinge and the elbow hinge, and maybe even the wrist. The wrist seems to be quite loose, but the elbow and the shoulder is not flexible at all. So I'm going to take them apart, see what I can do to these hinges to make them move a little bit easier. And if not, I'll have to cut the hinges out and join them up with a little bit of string or some rope. Okay, that's one. Pull his elbow out. Now the big question is, how does his shoulder work? Yeah, Dude, you're tough, man. I have no idea. It's probably why I didn't play with puppets when I was little. No, I got to get something else in there. So here I have his lower arm. I'm going to take this hinge apart and just skim away some of the plastic so that this has, well, a lot more free movement, because at the moment it's just way too stiff and that little servo will not be able to move this. Okay, I managed to get his elbow out of there, and as you can see, the elbow kind of has these little notches that go into the side, so that is obviously causing a lot of friction. I'm going to cut these off and then going to trim a little bit on the inside so that this has like kind of no friction at all. So I've taken those little ends off, so I have just enough material that it can actually sit in that little groove, but I'm still thinking I need to trim off a little bit of the sides so that it has less friction. Okay, might have gone a little bit far, but this definitely is moving a lot freer than it was before. I think I just need to figure out how to hook it up properly. So that is kind of what I'm looking for, that free movement. Now the next step would be the connection inside the arm itself. That is still super stiff. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drill this open and maybe sand or file off these little notches over here so that we get a little bit of elbow twist as well. It's a little bit better. Yeah, that's moving quite free now. So now we have a little bit more elbow twist as well. Let's put the arm back together and let's see if this was enough. And now coming to the shoulder, this is just way too stiff. Let me get in there, loosen everything up. I don't even know how I'm going to open this because this one is seriously tough. Well, let me get to work. Let me see how far I get. So what I've done is I've actually just cut the hinge off, and I'm going to place the shoulder into its position. And once the jacket is on, the jacket will hold the shoulder in place. The other hinges are pretty loose now, and maybe a little bit too loose on stages, but I'm also hoping that the jacket and the sleeve will hold the arm together. So let's get his jacket back on and let's see if that really works. Okay, put his arm through the sleeve. Well, let's do that in the end. Oh, just before I put that back on, you see that I've bent his torso. So I've literally bent that his back comes around a little bit like this as well, so that he's not sitting so straight in the seat. So he's crouching a little bit forward, managing the arm to actually reach the gear lever and having a bit of a more, well, let's say natural driving position. All right. Let's get his jacket on. And now we have to fiddle his arm in there. And putting his arm into the position. I'm sure there's an easier way of doing this. You probably get professional, well, figures that are made for this kind of stuff. There we go. Placing his jacket on. And that seems to be perfect. Well, maybe a bit too perfect. Oh boy, I went too far. I'm gonna squish this a little bit. Maybe it'll get a bit more grip. It's actually less grip. Squish this one in this direction. And that seems a little bit better. Perfect, okay. Get the shoulder in position. Keep his jacket in place. And let's see if this works. Okay, but before I do that, I actually want to join his lower legs back on by just threading them with a little bit of string so that they have movement. So I'm kind of replacing the kneecap with a little bit of string. Okay, so I've got my strings that are a little bit bigger. They're like small ropes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drill holes, tie the lower leg and the upper leg together and kind of do a knee replacement. one that doesn't have so much friction. So here are the knee replacements. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to do or use the same system in the ball joint of the shoulder. So I'm going to thread the rope or the string through here and actually tie that shoulder into his back. That way we have movement, and also we don't have the situation where the arm could come off and the jacket has to hold the shoulder in place. That way the shoulder holds itself in place and not the jacket. That, I think, is a better idea. That is a lot better. Now I just need to figure out a way how to keep it in there. I think a bit of hot glue would do the trick down there. All right, let's get this guy dressed again. I'm sure Sirius is not used to being naked on camera. Anyway, let's get his clothes back on and let's see how he fits in the Jeep. Okay, and that was a bit fiddly. What I didn't know is that you kind of have to put the arms in at the same time. So that was obviously because I didn't play with dolls when I was little, but it seems to me that this is kind of working. So let's get the Jeep back on the table. Okay, now I have a little trick on how to get him positioned in the seat that he doesn't move. Put a little elastic band around his waist, put him in position, kind of like this. Get his feet down there. Yeah, I know you don't get into cars like this, but this is how I'm doing it right now. Okay, and well, let's take this out for a minute. Now what I do is I take this and I stick it underneath the seat, so it holds his waist in place. I know you won't be able to see this very well, but I'm going to go underneath the seat, grab it with a screwdriver and pull it through the back part of the seat. Let's put him into a better driving position there where he will be seated. This is a bit fiddly. There we go. And then what I do is I go over the backrest and let it slip down, and that's it. Now he has a little bit of movement. I can get his jacket down there. That kind of is a good position for the jacket. Geez, this is fiddly, I can tell you. So that's kind of how the jacket would be sitting. Now all I need to do is get the arm and the hand positioned on the steering wheel. So Sirius Black obviously had a wand, and this little see-through elastic kept the wand in his hand. So what I'm going to do with this little see-through elastic band is attach his hand to the steering wheel. And I kind of don't know quite how I'm going to do that. Wait, do this first. Go around the back. Kind of like that. Oh, GCM. And then around the front. And go around his hand again. So then it kind of looks like that. Put his other arm onto the gear lever. Let's see if this works. Hang on. Okay, let's get the remote. I think I have a little bit too much play in the shoulder at the moment, but let's give it a try. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. Okay, what I can do now is maybe get the sleeve a little lower Hang on, I think this little elastic band has slipped. I kind of wanted a little bit holding the hand. Oh my gosh, this is fiddly as heck. Holding the hand kind of like that on the steering. Yeah, that kind of looks good. Put his jacket on a little tighter. Maybe that'll help with the shoulder. And off we go. Jeez, that was me kind of taking a hike down the muddy trail. Oh jeez. Okay, let's carry on filming. So all in all, I think his driving position is a lot more natural. His arm does move very freely. I'm very happy with that. And also that his back is not so perfectly straight, making him crouch a little bit forward, you know, getting ready to attack an obstacle. That's kind of the driving position that I was looking for. So guys, that's it for me this week. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell, and we shall see you guys next week.